Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admins received. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Zodwa, not a real name. I am living a life that most people out there, they can only wish that they could live. I have my own beautiful mansion, but I have 4 other properties. I have this beautiful mansion of mine in Senton, the kind of a home that only people can dream about. But what they don't know is that there is a terrible price that I have to pay, a terrible price that I had to pay for me to become what I am right now, a price that have been haunting me each and every day of my life. Years ago, I was an ordinary woman struggling to make ends meet. I had my 3-year-old son, whom I will call Swu, not his real name, who was like the light of my life. I was desperate for money. I wanted to rise above the poverty that had been plaguing our family for generations. That was when I spoke with one of my ex-boyfriends who was from Mozambique. He had gotten big almost overnight. He then called me and he told me that he was back in his country in Mozambique. He told me that he was going to come to South Africa, but for a vacation. That is how rich he had gotten overnight. Well, he came and he went with me on that vacation. So much money that he wasted on me, so much money that he did spend on me. We spent 2 weeks on our vacation, but we never slept with each other. On the final night, he then told me that unfortunately he could not sleep with me because he had been avoiding me. And I was like, why are you avoiding me? Why can't you make love to me? He said that it was very difficult until he told me that he had married himself off to a snake. At first, I could not believe him. I thought that maybe he was sick, like he had an STI, and there was something that was wrong with his manhood, so he was afraid to sleep with me. He told me about Ukuthwala, and he said that he wanted me to be part of that ritual. And if only I could give him time, and this ritual, it was going to give me everything that I would ever want. So I traveled to Mozambique, where I met a very powerful traditional healer who promised me wealth beyond my wildest dreams. So there was a catch to this. The healer told me that we had to use my son in this ritual. I was already knee deep in this muddy water, and there was no more turning back, for this was the only way to give myself a better life. This ritual, it was going to make me to become very rich, and I wanted to be rich, like really, really bad. So I had to return back to my country, South Africa. After the traditional healer had given me some money, he said, this is the money that you are going to use to bring your son back to Mozambique. He gave me the money which I was supposed to use to return back to Mozambique, and when they had given me the money, I then came back to my country, applied for a passport, since the first time we did not go using a passport for me and for my son. After the passports were out, I then returned with my son back to Mozambique. They forcefully took my son by force from me. Then they made my son to sleep in this other mud hut, and he was crying throughout the night. I don't know what they were doing to my son, but it seemed to be something that was really painful. He was screaming in pain, and I was then reminded by the traditional healer that my son, being in that mud hut, he was going to die anyway, and I was not supposed to shed a tear. My innocent boy, I heard him crying. Well, he was locked up in that mud hut, and I could not even shed a tear. I then returned with him back to South Africa. My son died after the ritual, and I had been told that his spirit, he was going to be used for this ritual. He was going to be made to become a snake, and this was going to give me great wealth. It started really small when this snake was giving me money. I would wake up and I would find out that there would be money in my handbag. And then my ex-boyfriend, he helped me to secure some businesses, some contracts, and I blew up. He said, the money that you are seeing that you are being given by the snake, do not waste it. Keep it, save it. I was then told that I had to build a home for my son. So I bought a mansion, a very beautiful grand mansion in Senton. bought some nice furniture, but I can't live there. I can't live there because this house, even though from the outside it's like a very beautiful home, I do go there, spend some time, but I can't permanently be living there, for this is more like a prison for my son's spirit. My son was made to become like a snake, a python. I only go to this mansion to feed the snake. Each time that I go there, I'll be having 6 live chickens with me. I do this once a week. I take my live chickens after buying them, then I load them into my car, then I go to my house there in Santon, then I go there upstairs. That is where my son is staying, the snake. This snake, it stays in the room which is supposed to be my bedroom. Then I go and I dump the chickens. I return back the next day. Then I start to clean up the room. This is what the sacrifices this is the sacrifices that I am supposed to make. And after that, I would have cleaned up the bedroom, mopped it. Then I take the bones, the feathers, the chicken feathers, and I go with them, because my son, the python, he just swallows the chickens and then he later vomits the bones and the feathers. And then I take everything to my son's grave. So when I leave them there, I don't know where exactly do they go to, but when I return back to my son's grave, the bones, the chicken feathers, they will all be gone. Currently, I have a maid whom I picked up from the streets. It's not like from the street as such, because this lady, she was working at this other salon. So that was where I met her, and I told her that I wanted a maid, and I told her how much I would be paying her. So she then trusted me. But what she does not know is that her boss is a ritualist, and I have been considering her for my other rituals, because I am supposed to renew my rituals again. These rituals are supposed to be scheduled for January next year. I don't know what I am going to be doing with her during those rituals. I was just told that I have to prepare for a blood ritual, another blood ritual that will need human blood. So as for her, I thought that she's someone who is perfect. She is from Zim. She does not have any papers. I have spoken with her, and I have seen that even from her country, there is no one who cares for her. She says that she is an orphan and blah, 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 blah. That is why I chose her. I confess now, because I don't need your forgiveness. No, I did not come here wanting people to feel sorry for me. I came here so that I can just confess. Indeed, I want to tell you that I am living my life, and the way that I am living my life, most of the people, they do wish that they had a lifestyle like mine. This is the life that I chose. This is the life that I am living. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins. Our sister right there was saying that she is a maid whom she is paying really well. And this maid of hers, she is from Zim, and she wants to sacrifice her next year in January. That is when she is going to be sacrificed in a blood ritual. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.